everybody. Tonight we're going to be doing a Stormy Sea and Stormy Sky tumbler. And I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to get on while I'm waiting for my computer to come up so that I can see some of your messages. And remember, I always, if I don't see any questions and answer them during the live, I will go back tonight or either sometime tomorrow and answer any questions that you have. Okay? So let's give everybody just a few more minutes to get on, and I'll see if I can get my computer geared up so that we can see the live on it, and I can go in and get some questions. Okay. All right. We got it going now. Let me turn the volume off on it so that that won't be a problem. Okay, now the Stormy Sea and Stormy Sky, like I told you, I always do an index card when I am making a tumbler, and I put my steps on there as well as the different products and colors that I use when I'm making any tumbler that I do. For this one, you'll start out with your cup and you want to prep it, and when you prep it, then you want to sand it, clean it, and paint it white with a flat paint. And then after you do that, then we're gonna go in, and I use 3 coats of the Rust-Oleum glow paint because I'm gonna put lightning on it, and I want the lightning to glow once we get through with it. So I put 3 coats of that on there, and then I go in and I put my decals on. If you can, I think you can see pretty good where the decals are on there all throughout. We'll pull them off in a little bit. Put those on, then you go back and you spray paint it white again. And then once you do that, then we'll be doing the smoke on it to make the top part like a stormy sky. And if you'll see, I did go ahead and I did some of the smoke on it. I left one section right in there that I did not, so that we could do that tonight. When I'm doing a tutorial and trying to help and teach some things that I've been taught, I like to go through as many steps as I can so it doesn't take so long for us to go through the process. That way I can tell you what I've done so far, and then it's a little bit quicker rather than having to take 2 hours to do a tutorial. So now I'm going to turn you down so we can get started on doing some smoke. Okay, I think maybe you can see there now. All right, I think that'll work. So what I do, I'm like everybody else. I use a candle and a fork. And you fork, every once in a while I'll clean my fork, but it works better the more of the smoke that it has on it. And we're going to see if we can get this where you can see. I don't know. If you will go in, let me know if you've done the smoke tumbler with the smoke look on it. You can do the smoke look on all different colors, not just white. Okay, and I hold my fork just over, and you can see where it's immediately it starts putting some smoke on it. And you can sort of turn it and swirl it to make it smoke the way you want it to in different areas that you want it to. I hope you can see what it's doing and see some of the smoke coming up and rolling around the tumbler. And that's what makes the stormy sky look. And there's a few sections. I want to get a little bit more. And now I don't know if you can see that black smoke coming up or not. Okay. Now as you can see, we've got smoke all the way around it where we did. It doesn't take long. And so that gives it that stormy sea look. So let's blow this out and get it back then out of our way. Okay, now, and if you do this and you do the smoke and you do it on a gloss paint, then it will rub off. But if you do it and you do it on a matte paint, as you can see all the way around it, I'm rubbing it even where I just did the smoke, and it does not rub off. But it will if you do it on a semi-gloss or gloss. So make sure you use a flat paint, okay? And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull off the lightning. So I'll try to find a spot where I can go in and catch it, and then we'll pull it off. And then that way as we go through the rest of the process. And then tomorrow, when I do the final coat on it, it'll either be tomorrow or Wednesday that I'll put it on and show you what the final product looks like once we've done the epoxy on it. But the lightning, I just Googled lightning and then put it with I use a Brother scanning cut, and I use that and cut it out and put it on there. And you put that on there, like I said, after you do paint it white, put 3 coats of the glow in the dark spray paint. It's Rust-Oleum glow in the dark. I spray that on there, then I put my lightning on, and then I go back and put another coat of white paint on there. But this will be real neat if you've had the cup out in the sun, or just sitting around and then you turn the lights off and then that lightning shining through that stormy cup, stormy sky and stormy sea. And then I hadn't decided what I'm going to put on it yet, what quote. We'll put something on there. Okay, now you can see where I've done the lightning. And I've pulled all of that off, okay? Now, the way that I painted the cup to get ready, I did the very bottom in black, just lightly. Then I did a layer of a medium gray, and then I did a layer of white gray. And I did all of that, as you could see, with the lightning still on there. But that'll just make it easier when we start doing our stormy sea. So now we'll mix our epoxy, and this is something that takes a while, but it's something that you can't do ahead of time. And I always put my part B in first, and with this I always mix more than I think I'm gonna need. And as you know, I use measuring spoons instead of trying to fool with milliliters. So I put in, with this I'm going to be mixing 2 tablespoons of B, and then I'll mix 2 tablespoons of A. Okay. Clean that out real good. And I don't ever mix mine, stir them separately, and then pour them into a different container. When I do it, I mix and pour and do everything in one container, and I've never had a problem with it. So let me prop that up. Okay, now we're going to do part A. Part A is the thicker one. Takes it a while to come out. And with this one, as you know, I always put in the top coat that I'll be using, or if there's going to be against any white, I always use the Casting Craft Blue Transparent. And I put not even a drop of that in. And it keeps the epoxy from yellowing. And I use it really with any cup that I do, because I feel like if it's going to yellow on a white cup, it'll make any color change and have a yellow tinge to it. Okay, and I always clean my spoons as soon as I'm through with them. And I've been using the same spoons ever since I started doing cups about 3 years ago. But they're keeping baby wipes handy. They're easy to clean. Okay. Now we're going to put just a tinge of the casting crab. And as you can see, I just did a barely little bit that I put on the popsicle stick. And now I'll set my timer for 4 minutes. Anytime I'm doing a large mixing for a large cup, 30 ounce and above, I always stir it for 4 minutes. If I'm doing a 20 ounce, I do 3 minutes. And if I'm doing less than 20 ounce, I'll do most of the time around 2.5 to 2 minutes. But once we get this mixed, then we're going to do it, separate our cups to get our different colors that we're going to put to make our Stormy Sea. But make sure you scrape the sides real good as you're mixing and turning. And for some reason, there we go, let's see if we can, nope. All the comments tonight are showing up below on my computer, so I cannot see the comments. I'm sorry. We'll have to do them after I get off of the live or sometime in the morning. But I will answer any questions that you have at that point. So just be patient and I will get back with you. Okay, we've been stirring about 2.5 minutes. This part is very boring, but it's something that you got to do and do right, because if you don't mix right, well then you're going to mess up all the work that you've done on your cup. And we don't want to do that. Work too hard on them. And I still always use popsicle sticks. I've tried silicone stir, and I've tried the metal, but I always go back to the popsicle sticks. And I always keep my heat gun handy, and I also use a torch when I'm doing tumblers to help with the bubbles. Now tonight I'm going to be using mostly paint, that I'm going to be mixing acrylic paint rather than dyes or ink. I will put ink on the very bottom, but when I do that, I don't use the torch. I use the heat gun rather than the torch. Okay, now we've got about a minute. So you see this part does take a long time, and I wish I could see the comments. If I could, then at this point I could answer some questions, but I can't see them, so. But I know we've had some people watching from all over, so that's a good thing. And I will be very soon on my Facebook page having a group that I'm going to call You Style Design Time. And with it, then I'll be doing some lives on there, as well as I'll probably still do one a week on this, as long as it's where I can. And if Rick gets real busy with it and needs that slot, then of course it's his page and he'll be using it. But he's been very kind and generous to let me and other people share lives on his page, and I appreciate that. Appreciate him and Kelly both. Okay, well, that was 4 minutes. Now we're going to separate it and pour it into 4 different cups, because we're going to use a black alcohol ink, and we're going to use a elephant gray, and it's in the apple barrel. And I've got a gunmetal metallic in the folk art, and I'm going to be using an apple barrel white. And just keep in mind, when you're using paints, you don't want to put much in there because your paint will get stringy and it'll cause a problem when you're trying to work with your cup. And when we start putting it in there, I'll show you how much I put in each color. And then I'm going to leave some to put on the cup, because when I start the cup turning, I will just cover the cup completely with epoxy before we start putting the colors on. Okay, and the black, it takes very little. Let's see what. Don't want it green, so that's 3 drops of the black that I've used. Okay, this is 5 drops of the black. And it's starting to get a little black. And I don't know, white tends to have a green. 6, 7 drops of the black. Okay. Put the top on that. And the elephant gray I thought I had open, but I did not. Okay. Now, that was about 2 drops. So as you can see, 2 drops gives you a good gray. And now with the gunmetal, now the gunmetal, I put about 5 drops. We're not going to use a lot of the gunmetal, but it will give it a little bit of a glossy look, like the waves, with the night sky shining on them, night moon. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit more of the gunmetal in the metallic. That's about 2 more drops. And like I said, you don't want to get a lot because you don't want it to be gummy. Okay. And now we're going to put white. And that's about 4 drops of white. And I think I'll put just a little bit more so it'll be good and white. And remember, in our waves, we want to have some sails. So I'm going to go back, and I've got glycerin that I get at Walmart. And I'm going to put about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops. And let's see how that does. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I've got my turner over here, so I am going to pull the cup off of this football because that's a little football. And we're going to move the turner over. You want to push it up on there as far as you can get it. You want to make sure it's level. And this is a turner that's really, really slow. This is one of the first turners that I got 3 years ago. I bought one and we made one. Alan made me one. And I really like these different things that I'm working on. And they'll go both directions. And it's a pretty quiet turner. It doesn't make a lot of noise. So let's put our glove on. And now we want to make sure we cover the whole cup good with epoxy. And with these, when you're making them, you may not want to put the lightning on one you make. You can make it and you don't have to use that step. You could skip that step, and that way you only paint it white, and then you start with your painting the bottom, and then you do your smoking, and then you do your epoxy. So that's one step that you can do away with, but make sure that you have to make that decision before you start. But I just like to use something that's a little bit different. That'll be eye-catching. And y'all need to give me an idea of the next cup that you would like for us to do. If you've got something in mind that you haven't seen that you would like for us to do, just put it in the comments, and we'll see what we can do then next Monday night, if that night is available. And if not, then I'll get with Rick and we'll set up a day and a time. But I'll certainly go in and make an announcement so you'll know when we'll be doing it. Okay. Now, let's go with the black. Now this black, it's got a green tinge to it, which the floor of the ocean has that, as you know. So we're going to put that around the bottom. And then we'll work our way up. And you're not going for anything to have it even or smooth or anything like that. So okay, and now the next color that we're going to use will be the regular gray. This was the elephant gray. And we're just going to put a little bit of that on. And remember, the paint works a little bit different than the inks and the dyes. And it really helps when you put your paint on there ahead of time for everything to blend and work together. Okay. Now we're going in with some of the gunmetal. And you can see how the black and the gray here is already starting to blend some. And it's okay to bring some of the gunmetal down in with the other and up a little bit. And it's okay to let it, some of it run off. Just make sure you have something under so messy will take care of itself. Okay. Let that turn just a little bit, and then we're going to put on the white. Then after we turn on the white, put on the white, then we're going to start lifting the cup some so that the waves can start forming a little bit. Get the heat gun out and see if we can blow that up just a little bit. Mix it and blend it just a little bit. As it comes around, you can sort of see how it's getting that look of waves. Okay, now let's go in and put some white on there and see what we can do with that. Now we're going to put just a little bit in some other areas, not a lot. Just a little. As it comes around, you can see we're not putting an awful lot. Let's work with that and see what it looks like. Let me get the gray and get some of that up out of the way. On my side, I can see where it's sort of heavy, so I'm just lifting some of that off. Okay, now we're going to turn it up. Let it start turning. Some of the waves start coming down. Okay, now we're going to turn it down this way. can see how all the Stormy looks starting to form. Okay, now I'm going to take my heat gun, and I've got my heat gun on cool. I don't have it on hot. And I'm going to keep it on low. And we're just going to blow some of this down. And once we blow some of it down, then we're going to blow it back up. Try to do it up here so you can see what it's doing. I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a little bit more white. You can see where that when you see a stormy sea and the way the fog is and the clouds, it's like everything just sort of starts to blend and mix together, and that's what this is doing. You can see in here where it's starting to form. Bringing just a little more down in with the black this time. Want to do it a little bit at a time till you get the look that you want. And then tomorrow when I show the cup, I'll turn the lights out so you can see how the lightning glows. Okay. That out of the way, and then get the heat gun back out with it on cool. And try to do it up here so you can see more about what's going on. See how it moves it. Now I'm going to take the turner. We're going to turn it up again. Let it spin just a little bit. And it's amazing the effect that that gives. Where it looks like the foam and the waves are splashing up. Okay. And we're going to go back and hold it this way. And by the way, I have ordered me a 1-cup turner from Rick. I told him I wanted a lightweight turner that would be easy to handle like this when I'm doing lives. So when we get that, then that's what I'll be using for my lives, is the one that I got from him. Okay. Well, that is about it. We'll let this turn tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be able to put decal on it and put the last coat of epoxy, and I'll pull the tape. I always take the top and the bottom off, remember. And but let me see if I can hold it up where you can see. I don't know if you can really tell about how the Stormy sea looks or not. But it really turned out neat. And it reminds me of when I'm at the beach and it's come a rain and the fog from the rain is hitting the water and the sky, and you hardly can't see where one stops and the other one starts. So I hope that was helpful. And like I said, I try to do these so that when we do them, it doesn't take so long for us to do them, so that you can sort of get an idea of what we're doing. So be sure and give me some ideas of what you would like to see next week, and we'll see what we can do. If it's not a cup that I think I can do, I'll tell you, and then we'll do something different. So just think about what you want to see and let me know. And y'all have a blessed evening, and I'll talk to you later, and we'll show you this finished cup tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.